Right.
Testing, 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 testing.
We had all the other for another race.
You didn't know you were going to be running, did you, Connie? This is... You did good.
Mike's online now, so.
Hey, Kevin, we're gonna get rolling here. Thank you very much. Yeah.
to give you too much information, but thanks for asking. Yes. Oh, you are the best. Yeah, I told you you were the best. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes, come on in. I'm actually leaving. These guys are in charge.
Here.
Anywhere we can rest?
Okay. No, we'll, no. We just need a quorum to do the business. So, yep. Yeah. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. And please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and if you new board members would just remain standing, I will administer the oath of office for you. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name, being first duly sworn, will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Oregon, and will discharge the duties as a member of the Board of Directors of School District Number 55 to the best of my ability. All right, welcome. And with that, and Mike online, we do have a quorum, so we are okay to do business tonight. So first order of business is to elect board officers, and we're board chair, vice chair, and secretary, and I can take a nomination for them individually or as a whole, or however you would like to do it. I can, yes. I believe Mike has said that he is also.
Yes, I don't plan to run again for re-election.
This will just be through this year, so, yep.
So I make a motion to have Jason Reddick as board chair, Mike Reynolds as vice chair, and David Brown.
Jason, has anybody made any nominations yet? I can't hear what's really going on.
Jim Gorley is right now, yeah. Everybody, please make sure your mics are on. There's a little. There it is. There we go. Okay.
I would make a motion that Jason Reddick for board chair, Mike Reynolds for vice chair, and Deborah Brown for board secretary.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. So all in favor of board chair Jason Reddick, vice chair Mike Reynolds, and secretary Deborah Brown, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Looks like we're doing it again, Mike.
Okay.
All right, so do we have any changes we need to make to the agenda? We do have a revised agenda here in front of us. We were kind of expecting that, but I haven't seen any late items beyond that, so. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the agenda? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we can move forward with the agenda. Do we have any public comments tonight? Did we get any public comments, Julie? Okay. Yes. Go ahead and state your name and address. That way we got
Okay.
for the record.
Okay, my name is Matthew Burdett.
Yeah.
And I live at 2730 on my street here in Sweet Home. My wife and I have been in town for about 11 years. Our daughter Jessie just completed her freshman year in school. And with all this that's been going on the last couple of years, we really made a decision, my wife and I, to really be informed on what's going on. And one of the things that hurts me is that my daughter missed her freshman year. And she's never going to get that back. It was a struggle this year for the in-Zoom classes. My wife and I, we are blessed that she pulled out a 4.0, but the thing that really hurts me though is that there was moments where 2 hours would go by and no instruction. And it wasn't the first time. And going through the school board policy book, it almost was discouraging for me because I did not know where to go or where to start on finding out how I could help her in this process. And one of the things that I caught and read was that the school offers equal opportunity for each student. Every time that she emailed a teacher or an instructor wasn't there for her, that was not equal opportunity. And my wife and I want to get more involved, and we want to make sure that us as parents can do the right thing for her and make sure that something like this won't happen again for her and other kids. Because I know there's a lot of kids out there who do not have an advocate. And so, please forgive me, I'm not quite sure of the process. I have been trying to get more involved with politics a little bit. I've been going to the Linden Republican Party in, well, I was in Brownsville, but now that I'm in Albany. So hopefully you guys will see a lot more of me, and I'll get to know you. And so, but for the most part, it really makes a big difference when the student has a family member. I know a lot of these kids don't, they have an uncle, aunt, or grandma, or something like that helping them through, and it's really difficult. I think my daughter's really fortunate that dad and mom are still at the house, and we were there to help her and guide her. But it was really discouraging for her freshman year, and she wanted to go to school, wear the mask, but we didn't believe in that. And we tried to make her understand that we need to make a stand as parents and do what is right for her, not what you guys think or anyone else thinks. So, thank you. and for other kids as well, yeah.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a certified classified representatives? I don't see them on there. Oh, Velma's on here? Okay. Hi, Velma.
How's everybody doing?
We're good.
Well, that's good. Well, I just wanted to say hi and check in with everybody. I'm currently in Tennessee, but popping into the meeting to see how things are going and say that classified's moving along. Happy to be doing summer school. I'm glad that the kids get to have summer school this summer. Should be exciting and hopefully new adventures for them. Help them catch up on some of the stuff they may have missed during the school year.
All right.
Thank
How's
you.
the weather in Tennessee?
Hot and muggy, and it's rained almost every day I've been here.
That's Tennessee. Thanks, Velma.
All right, thank you.
And is Steve still?
He was going over the mountains.
Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. I just wanted to give him an opportunity if he wanted to talk. So I guess, Tom, I'll turn it over to you for the superintendent's report.
Okay, superintendent's report. The first item on my report, it's not on my report in the packet because it transpired between our officers meeting when we set the agenda and tonight. It's the district's partnership with the Forest Service and the firefighters. Last week, County Commissioner Sherry Springer gave me a call and asked if we could help support the firefighters with a base camp, operational camp at our high school, using our facilities, our grounds, water, place to sleep, and so forth. And I said, absolutely, we aim to help out as much as possible. So within 5 minutes, I connected Commissioner Springer to Kevin Strong, who worked with their operations manager. And I thought, Kevin, maybe you could give a little update, background of what's transpired and anything since then.
Sure. I'm Mikeless, so how about I'll see if Pauline this one's working.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I think right about 30 seconds after I received the call from Tom, I then received a call from Commissioner Springer. Within about 45 minutes, Sherry was here with representatives from the Washington Department of Natural Resources, quite a few of the people that are actually in charge of the fire effort on the Brewer fire between Detroit and Green Peter are actually out of the state of Washington, which is kind of interesting. We have a lot of our people helping on fires elsewhere, and so people from Washington are coming to help on the fire that's kind of near our backyard. What we did is we kind of quickly decided on which school would work best for an operations center. At that time, they were thinking about having firefighters camp in town as well. Since then, they decided to have the firefighters camp closer to the fire. And so really, we're just an operations center where we have finance, logistics, kind of the other key parts of the operation here where the firefighters are much closer to the fire. But by that evening, they were moving into the high school. They kind of initially set up a kind of a campground with tents between the high school and Husky Field, and they're using the C building on the south side of the high school as their operations center. We involved the Jamboree early on. Robert Chamick from the Jamboree came down for our walkthrough because we know that with the Jamboree less than 2 weeks out, we didn't want to have any sort of a conflict there. And so where it's at right now, they believe that they will be able to wrap up a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, with some limited people staying at the high school until mid-morning on Wednesday. We've run that by the Jamboree. At that point, we would turn C building over to the Jamboree. We want to get a little bit more water on the field where the Jamboree is this week to kind of help keep it green. And so the Forest Service has agreed to move all of the tents kind of closer, some of the little green spaces that you see between buildings at the high school. They've moved in there so we can start irrigating this week that field to keep it green going into the Jamboree. But they've been outstanding to work with. Earlier today, I did a walkthrough of the field between the high school and the covered bridge where they had been camping. They were out there picking up litter. They want to leave the school and the field in better shape than what they found it. So they've been outstanding to work with. And, I think, as you see people here in Sweet Home, definitely thank them. I mean, we learned last summer what can happen when there's a fire burning in the Cascades, and if the wind conditions change and, we get a surprise east wind or even a forecasted east wind that does occur, how quickly flames can come this direction. So it's great to see them working on the fire and really helping support our community in our backyard. So it's been good. And, the nice thing they've said that, if they're ever in the area again, they would like to consider Sweet Home for a headquarters base. So I appreciate hearing that. Yep. Pre-COVID, the Forest Service and the state forestry would have a fire camp right at the high school. You know, and I've mentioned that to people, but the people I'm working with, it's interesting. They are all like, and you can see it in some of their vehicles. You'll go over there and you'll see Spokane, Gig Harbor, you know, places in Washington I can't pronounce. I think it's Enumclaw, like that. Twisp is one of the people mentioned. So Tom, I think you're familiar with that area. And so, you know, it really is neat to see them come down here and help us while we have our people out helping the others throughout Oregon and the West Coast.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And big thank you to Ralph, the high school facilities crew for helping the firefighters out. And of course, a big thank you to our firefighters for helping keep us safe. Thanks, Kevin. Next on my report is the health and safety, ODE health and safety guidance. So if you refer to your board packet to 6B1, the date is June 25th, 2021, ODE, Oregon Department of Education, announced its new framework for safety, and it's called Resiliency Framework for Full-Time In-Person Instruction for 2021-2022 school year. Excuse me. So there's some changes, significant changes that were issued June 25th. I'm not going to read the entire document, but I'm going to highlight some of the things here. There's a shift to from state control to school districts having more local decision making. So communities can have say over the health and safety decisions that serve our students. The framework also reflects Governor Brown's announcement Friday that her order lifts her previous COVID-19 health and safety restrictions that were issued under the Oregon emergency statutes that we existed as a school, all school districts existed under last year, where the state had more control, if not absolute control, over the health and safety protocols up until January 2021, as you know, where some of the decision-making was relinquished to our school district. Some of the key pillars of the framework, Oregon Public Schools will return to full-time in-person instruction next year. It also states that districts may continue online programs at their discretion. And it again reiterates the vast majority of the health and safety protocols, face coverings, physical distance, though that were mandatory, are now advisory. Okay. So those are highlights in your packet. And then in the new packet, I have it on a loose piece of paper. So when we cut the original packet, there was an update that happened at the Oregon Department of Education regarding school buses. So that's in your packet. It's dated July 9th. And ODE put forth that the federal government, CDC, Center of Disease Control, all schools are under their mandatory use of face covering on public transit, which includes school buses, until it's lifted by the federal government, and it states it cannot be waived by state or local authorities. So there's one caveat to local control, and that's with school buses. Okay, so I took this guidance as well as reviewing these documents, reviewing our previous health and safety protocol documents locally, met with principals, met with our union leadership, both classified and certified, so Coach Thorpe and Velma, school nurse, district nurse, and also incorporated about a year's worth of our own feedback locally within our community and our region and how well we've done with our safety and protocols. And so I put together an announcement, a health and safety protocol announcement to parents. So that's in a handout, or maybe it made the, because this was cut after the officers meeting, so I think it's in the new packet. But it was posted on our website, posted on our Facebook. It was sent to, excuse me, all of our parents the 13th. And so I won't read the whole thing to you, but I'll go through some of the significant portions. So the first paragraph states to our community that we now have more local control over our health and safety protocols per the ODE announcement. The second paragraph states that the Sweet Home School District planned for summer school in 2021-22 school year. Please know that these can be changed, can be subject to change depending on case counts, variants in our community, and also could be subject to state or federal guidance changes. Excuse me. So with that caveat, here's the plan for summer school and the school year. Number one, let's educate. So there'll be new updated guidance issued the 22nd of July. We anticipate it's just going to be enhanced reiteration of what ODE stated before. So we want to educate our staff and our students on safety protocols as much as possible, number one. Number two, allow students and staff the option to wear face coverings, masks. The district will not require the use of face coverings by students and staff, and the district welcomes those who would like to use face coverings. So as an example, we have students out there that might have compromised systems. We might have staff that have compromised or underlying conditions. We might have students that live in multi-generational families and they want to use the enhanced practices, excuse me, of wearing a face mask to help keep them safe. So we want to welcome that. But again, it's an option and it's not a requirement. Number two, or three, I should say, it goes back to the federal mandate that face coverings on buses until the federal government lifts that. Those are mandatory. Next bullet, the district will continue practicing 3-foot social distancing to the maximum extent possible and practice hand washing and enhanced cleaning protocols in our facilities. So an example of this is we have 600 plus 600 students in our high school. Let's not have an assembly packing 600 kids for a PEP assembly currently in our gym. Let's figure out another way to do that until conditions change. And maybe they'll change for the better before the beginning of this regular school year. So for instance, the high school's held assemblies outside. Or perhaps 9th and 10th grade go in and they space out, stuff like this. So let's practice to the maximum extent possible 3-foot social distancing. Maintain contact logs. So that's easy to do. We have seating charts, we have master schedules. So in the last bullet, if there is an outbreak or there are cases that we can go through and follow Lynn County protocols for contact tracing and quarantining if we need to. And then I have a second to last paragraph that talks about our chief responsibility is to keep our schools open and safe. And there might be a chance, something in the future that we need to rehab this discussion as a district if conditions get worse. So we may have to go back to some heightened protocols. So I think that should be put out there to have that conversation. But I've been looking at the trends and the bandwidth since January as I've been fairly stable in terms of the positivity rates. So I'm hopeful that they can continue, if not decline. And finally, I end with, I have confidence that Sweet Home, we can stay Sweet Home strong, work together, community, parents, students, staff, and have a great school year. Are there any questions regarding this or feedback?
I think it's a good thing to get back to where we have people making their own choices instead of being told we got to do whatever. So I like it.
Yeah, this allows for more self-governing and folks the opportunity to make some determinations themselves. Yeah. Yes. Mhm. So ODE comes out with OHA kind of highly recommended practices, and that is part of the recommended practices. They also recommend the hand sanitizing, the enhanced cleaning, all of those things. And so this is still embedded because, in my opinion, we need to be responsible and not, cavalier about COVID. I think there's some adjustments here that'll please kids and parents and staff. But we still have a degree of protocols in place to be cautious in moving forward. Now, if trends change and things become better, we could start to pull one by one some of these protocols.
All right. Thanks, Tom. All right, next we have the consent agenda. It's a nice big one like they always are in July. So I can read through it, or if everybody's just read it, I will point out the one late item onto the back, to approve the hire of Abby O'Neill, 5th grade teacher at Foster Elementary, just so that everybody's aware that there was an addition to the list that we received in our packets.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended with the late item.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of those items? It's pretty much just general business, so. All right, hearing none. All in favor? Aye. And opposed? Like, okay, and opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. So information and discussion, Kevin, budget update.
Okay, thanks, Jason. First item, it is a sheet of paper, individual sheet called Sweet Home School District Budget to Actual Spending Report. Our fiscal year just ended on June 30th. So this is a summary of where we were at the fiscal year end. And starting with the general fund for revenues, we ended the year with actual revenues as a percent of what was budgeted at 98.3%. So not quite as high as what we had projected. The good news is on the expenditure side, expenditures ended the year at just shy of 90% of budget. So we realized some savings there. Have a little summary at the bottom of the sheet, kind of explaining the impact. We started the year with an ending fund balance that was at 4.5% of our total revenues. It grew to almost 12% by the end of this fiscal year. And that was primarily to spending less than what we had budgeted. Reasons for that included labor savings by not filling some open positions and by spending less on substitute teachers and classified staff members. In addition, some costs that would have been charged to the general fund were paid for with federal school emergency relief funds instead. And that's kind of a good transition to the next sheet of paper, the one with yellow and green. This is a list right here. Yep, this one right here, kind of muted husky colors. This is a list that we plan to share with you for many school board meetings to come until we've spent all of the federal funds that have been made available to us. So right now we're just kind of getting started, but we want to account for that. You'll see in the top yellow section, we received ESSER 1. ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund dollars. We have spent all of our ESSER1 allocation, and you can see there how it was spent. On the far right-hand column, we've broken it into categories. Tom and Rachel had shared, I believe at last school board meeting, kind of an initial spending plan for our ESSER funds with different categories, and you can kind of cross-reference there how it relates to that plan. The second green section are ESSER $2. We have just started to spend those, and so far it's been spent on HVAC system upgrades to help improve air quality and comfort in our buildings. And then we have not spent any ESSER $3 as of June 30th.
Okay, any questions for Kevin? All right, thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
I see a facility report on here, but I don't see Josh.
And I think I'll take Josh's place for this month. The deal is he gets to take my financial report at a future meeting.
Well.
Right now, lots of positive things happening on the facility side. This week, we have a big project going on out at Foster, where in quite a few of the classrooms, we are abating asbestos tile. And so once the abatement is done, we'll be replacing that with new non-asbestos floor coverings, which is good. We have also at Foster, we've been installing short throw projectors that are very similar to actually the same, I think, brand as what you see here in the boardroom. And we're beginning work on installing those at the junior high school as well. Our plan is to eventually be able to do that district-wide, and which will be nice because if a teacher has a question, they can ask another teacher about, hey, how can I do this? They can share ideas, and it can really be kind of a good visual and tool that can be used in the classroom. So that's our hope. I think right now, Colleen, you're planning some professional development as well, so our teachers can really utilize that this school year. We also, our facilities team, kind of with summer school, we knew that with food prep, it gets really hot in the high school kitchen, especially being on the west side of the building. So they installed air conditioning. The staff has been very positive about that. I noticed, and I haven't asked Josh this, but we have some other air conditioners that have just arrived here. And so I think the plan is as much as possible to help out where we have some higher room temperatures and to try to help it be comfortable this summer, especially with summer school going on. So that's just kind of a short list of a lot of things our facilities team is doing. I know this week they were already this morning out on the Jamboree site, taking down the softball field fence and JV baseball field fences to get ready for that. So they have a full plate.
All right, any questions?
And I do, and the fire, I forgot to mention, this one neat story too. The firefighters up at the actual fire camp, before they could get a caterer in place, they asked our nutrition services team, hey, could you deliver us a hot breakfast? And our staff came together, got up at 2 a.m., got breakfast ready, delivered that, and it's the road. If you've ever gone up Green Peter, Quartzville, that one lane road that eventually takes you all the way to 22. Somewhere off of that, and I guess they missed the first turn, but somewhere off of that, they finally found the firefighters. And from what I've heard from the staff here, they really appreciated. They didn't think they'd have a warm breakfast, and our nutrition services staff delivered. So neat that they could go above and beyond and do that. So if you see anyone working this summer, please tell them thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
All right, we just have one action item for tonight, so we just need to designate the day, time, and location for the official school board meetings. We have been doing second Monday of the month, 6:30 here, if that works for everybody. we might want to continue that, or if we need to make a change, let's talk about it. So we want to make a
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion to
Keep the meetings on
keep the
the
meetings
second Monday at 6:30.
6:30. Okay. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? I gotta wait for you, Mike. I'm sorry. I keep doing that. All right, do we have any board comments tonight? I just want to say welcome to our new board members. Appreciate you guys stepping up and all right. Don't have any late items we need to deal with, so future agenda items. We do have a public meeting and then executive session July 26th to select candidates to interview for the superintendent's position. Special public meeting, executive session, that's July 26th there. Special meeting, executive session, August 1st through 4th, to do interviews for the superintendent position. Next board officers meeting is August 2nd at 3:30 in the superintendent's office. If you have something you need on the agenda, talk with Mike or myself or Tom, and we'll discuss it there. Next board meeting is August 9th here at district office boardroom at 6:30. And then another public meeting, executive session, August 10th to hold a finalist forum where we get to meet some finalists. And then public meeting, August 16th to vote to hire a candidate for the superintendent. Should have them, everything done at that time. So, and then district in-service is August 30th, 2021, time and location to be determined. So that's what's coming up. And with that,
Jason?
yes.
So we need to set a time for that.
That is, were we?
We did
Yeah.
not. But
We didn't, but we had talked about it a little bit with Steve, and I think 5 worked best for him. So if I don't have anybody screaming about 5, it might work that.
We talking about the meeting a week from now, 5 o'clock?
Next Monday, Mike.
That works.
All right, so we'll go ahead and set that for 5 o'clock then, and Julie will advertise it so that it meets the public meeting requirements.
So we need 20 of these.
We need
So
20 of those.
everybody needs to take
Yes,
20.
yes, correct. So,
Yep.
all right, and we are adjourned.